The birthday cake was already beginning to dry around the edges. The candles remained unlit. The expensive ballroom overlooked the sparkling city skyline, yet every chair sat painfully empty. The woman in the wheelchair kept glancing toward the entrance every few seconds, hoping that someone, anyone, would walk through the doors. Minutes turned into an hour, and the silence became louder than any celebration ever could. Then, just when she accepted that no one was coming, the doors slowly opened, and a dusty single father carrying a worn shopping bag stepped inside with his young daughter. What happened next changed every life in that room forever. Before we begin this unforgettable story, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to our channel, Journey of Kindness. Your support helps us continue sharing emotional stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Vivian Ashcroft had once been the definition of success. At only 38, she had built one of the country's fastest-growing technology companies from a tiny apartment into a billion-dollar empire. Newspapers admired her brilliance. Investors praised her fearless decisions. Employees respected her discipline, although many secretly feared her demanding standards. She believed emotion slowed progress, so she built walls around her heart as carefully as she built her company. Then everything changed on one rainy afternoon. Her chauffeur had barely crossed the bridge when a speeding truck lost control. The accident took only seconds, yet it stole everything she believed made her strong. Multiple spinal injuries left her permanently paralyzed from the waist down. Months of surgeries, rehabilitation, endless physical therapy, and painful hope finally ended with one heartbreaking conclusion. She would never walk again. The board members promised loyalty during the first weeks. Friends flooded the hospital with flowers. Business partners called every day. But as months passed, visits became fewer. Invitations disappeared. Conversations grew shorter. Many people who once claimed to admire her quietly moved toward younger executives with healthier futures. Success had surrounded her with many people, but tragedy revealed how few truly cared. Still, Vivian refused to surrender. She continued running her company from a wheelchair, attending meetings through determination stronger than steel. Yet every evening, after the office lights dimmed, loneliness settled over her luxurious penthouse like heavy winter fog. The silence inside those enormous rooms reminded her that wealth could buy almost everything except genuine human connection. When her birthday approached, her assistant insisted they organize a celebration. Hundreds of invitations were sent to executives, investors, celebrities, longtime friends, and relatives. Every please reply seemed positive. Everything was prepared perfectly. Elegant flowers decorated every table. Crystal glasses sparkled beneath magnificent chandeliers. A 3-tier cake stood proudly in the center of the room. On the morning of the party, Vivian even allowed herself something she hadn't felt in years: hope. Across town, another life looked completely different. Gideon Mercer lived in a tiny rented apartment with his 11-year-old daughter, Nora. 5 years earlier, his wife had passed away after battling a sudden illness, leaving him to raise their daughter alone. Every sunrise began before dawn. He worked construction during the day, delivered groceries in the evening, and repaired furniture on weekends just to keep food on the table. Life constantly tested him. Bills piled higher every month. His old pickup truck broke down more often than it ran. Some nights he skipped dinner so Nora could have seconds. Yet despite carrying the weight of 2 parents on his shoulders, Gideon refused to let bitterness enter his heart. His wife had always believed kindness was the greatest inheritance anyone could leave behind. He promised himself their daughter would grow up believing the same. One afternoon, while repairing a broken office cabinet inside Vivian's company headquarters, Gideon accidentally overheard 2 employees whispering near the elevator. They laughed quietly about the CEO's birthday. One joked that nobody would waste an evening attending the celebration because networking with a woman in a wheelchair no longer benefited anyone. The words struck Gideon like a punch. He looked toward the executive floor where Vivian's office stood and imagined how painful that loneliness must feel. He had never met her personally, yet he recognized that sadness. After losing his wife, he had experienced birthdays where only silence waited for him too. That evening, Nora noticed her father unusually quiet during dinner. He finally shared what he had overheard. Without hesitation, the little girl disappeared into her bedroom.